That year I just got worse and worse, and I started using crack a lot more, and instead of just smoking it, I was banging it up with a smack, having snowballs. The crack took over the heroin as I put less and less heroin in the spoon, and like a whole 20 stone or a stone and a half in one hit. And I think using those type of quantities, my head wasn't going to last long, and a paranoia would set in, and I knew deep down what I was doing to myself, that it was quite likely that I'd have a heart attack or a stroke the next time I injected like 20, 30 quid's worth of crack. Something had to give, and I suppose lucky enough now it was my hip, which I'd injured in a motorbike accident a few years ago, and they said I'd have problems with in the future, etc. That just kind of gave out on me, and I needed a hip replacement.
Before Kev was admitted to hospital, he had made numerous visits to A&E in a desperate attempt for help. However, on each occasion he was told that it was normal to be in such pain when waiting for a hip replacement. He was given standard ibuprofen and sent home. Kev found that they had no effect, and he began self-medicating with heroin.
So all I did was I just used shitloads more heroin. I was having big hits every hour or two, crashing out for a bit and getting lifts to score and all the rest of it. And then my hip wasn't getting any better, so I went back to the hospital, and they kind of they looked at me and they talked to me like I was wasting their time. They basically told me I was wasting their time. I was a known injecting drug user, because I didn't hide that, I just told them that. And they were like, oh, you're bound to be in some pain, you need a hip replacement. All they did was take my temperature in my ear and said it was normal, so there was no way I could have had an infection. Well, this just went on for weeks and weeks, and I kind of gave up. I was in that much pain, I was just living for the next hit. I really couldn't do anything else. I lost even more weight. I went down to about 9.5 stone. I look like, I just looked like I was about to die any minute.
He was desperate for medical help, and I was taking him back and forth to casualty and to his own GP to try and get them to see how ill he was and to admit him.
Kev's physical state rapidly deteriorated. The light would hurt his eyes, he couldn't eat or drink, and frequent rigors left him shaking uncontrollably.
Eventually, there came the day, and I went to him, and he was in such a terrible state. I said, enough is enough. I managed to get him admitted, but not before I'd really seriously considered whether Kevin's life was worth continuing. And I was going to help. I was going to smother him. Because I saw him lying there. He was in such a terrible state. And I knew he didn't want to live. I knew he had given up by then, really, at that point. But I knew it was wrong to do that. I couldn't do it. I just wanted to get him help. I thought, one last try, let's get him in, let's try and do it. Surely somebody can help him. And luckily they did. Luckily, they did.
I struck a deal with her that if we could score on the way up, she could drop me off somewhere to score, then we'd go up in the car and I'd go to the hospital with her. So that's what we did. I scored on the way up to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, we actually went to Landock this time and not the Heath. And they took blood tests off me, put me in the bed, tested them then and there, and came back and said my infection levels were basically sky high, and that I wasn't going anywhere for a long while. I had septicemia.
Kev spent the next 9 months in hospital. The doctors took over control of his methadone prescription and put him on strong antibiotics to fight the septicemia. As Kev began to get physically stronger, he once again felt that something was missing from his life. it soon became apparent that Kev was still mentally addicted to heroin. He organised for illegal drugs to be brought to hospital.